Luke 6:20 through 31. Looking at his disciples, he said, "Blessed are you who are poor, for yours is the kingdom of God. Blessed are you who hunger now, for you will be satisfied. Blessed are you who weep now, for you will laugh. Blessed are you when people hate you and when they exclude you and insult you and reject your name as evil because of the Son of Man. Rejoice in that day and leap for joy, because great is your reward in heaven, for that is how their ancestors treated the prophets. But woe to you who are rich, for you have already received your comfort. Woe to you who are well fed now, for you will go hungry. Woe to you who laugh now, for you will mourn and weep. Woe to you when everyone speaks well of you, for that is how their ancestors treated the false prophets. But to you who are listening, I say, love your enemies, do good to them who hate you, bless those who curse you, pray for those who will ill-treat you. If someone slaps you on one cheek, turn to them the other also. If someone takes your coat, do not withhold your shirt from them. Give to everyone who asks you, and if anyone takes what belongs to you, do not demand it back. Do to others as you would have them do to you." When we turn on the TV or browse the internet websites, we are bombarded with a lifestyle that promotes instant gratification. Take a trip to a vacation destination and leave all your worries behind. Buy this gadget and you will be able to do certain things quickly and simpler. Eat these supplements and you will look good. People come from all over to hear Jesus and be healed of their diseases. He cures those who are troubled by impure spirits. People try to touch him. They sense the power from him to heal. However, as Jesus does all these things, he does not promote what is known as the health and wealth gospel. There are some people today who preach that if you believe in Jesus, you will always be healthy and you will always be wealthy. Come to Jesus and you'll always have a beautiful body, free of diseases. Come to Jesus and you'll always have a large bank account. Jesus himself does not preach this. Instead, Jesus preaches the very opposite. Looking at his disciples, he said, "Blessed are you who are poor, for yours is the kingdom of God. Blessed are you who hunger now, for you will be satisfied. Blessed are you who weep now, for you will laugh." Jesus preaches an upside-down kingdom. We belong to an upside-down kingdom. He says that the kingdom of God will be given to those who are poor. You are blessed if you are hungry now. You will be satisfied. Those who weep now will laugh. There is virtue in poverty. There is virtue in hunger. There is virtue in weeping. As we experience them, we will be blessed. We will be satisfied. And to prove his point, Jesus makes further comments about being rich, being well-fed, and laughing. "But woe to you who are rich, for you have already received your comfort. Woe to you who are well-fed now, for you will go hungry. Woe to you who laugh now, for you will mourn and weep." Is Jesus against the rich? Is Jesus against being well-fed? Is Jesus against laughing? I don't think he is. Remember how Jesus turned the water into wine at the wedding feast at Cana. The master of the banquet said that they have saved the wine for the final part of the wedding. Jesus joins in the festivities of the wedding banquet. However, Jesus teaches the kingdom of God. You will not always be rich. You will not always be well-fed. You will not always be laughing. Instead, when you are poor, remember that you are part of the kingdom of God. If you are hungry, remember God provides and you will be satisfied. If you are weeping, remember God is weeping with you. One day, you will laugh again. So life is not just a matter of being rich, being well-fed, and laughing all the time. And what's more, if you believe in Jesus, life will become even more difficult. People will not understand you. Luke 6 verse 22. "Blessed are you when people hate you, when they exclude you and insult you and reject your name as evil, because of the Son of Man. because of the Son of Man. So, therefore, Jesus says that people will hate those who follow him, Jesus. People will exclude them and insult them. People will reject their names as evil, all because of him, Jesus, the Son of Man. All because of the Son of Man. Why does Jesus call himself the Son of Man? The use of the phrase Son of Man was started by the prophet Daniel in the Old Testament. In Daniel chapter 7 verse 13, one like a son of man is a human being who approaches the Ancient of Days. The Ancient of Days is a title for God in Daniel. It is God's throne in heaven. The Ancient of Days gives this Son of Man authority, glory, and sovereign power. Daniel 17 verses 13 to 14. In my vision at night, I looked, and there before me was one like a son of man, coming with the clouds of heaven. He approached the Ancient of Days and was led into his presence. He was given authority, glory, and sovereign power. All the nations and peoples of every language worshipped him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion that will not pass away, and his kingdom is one that will never be destroyed. Daniel writes this at about 500 BC. This sets the stage for the Messiah expected at the time of the New Testament. The people of Israel in the New Testament are looking for a Messiah who will restore their authority, glory, and sovereignty. They are looking for a king who will come, who will remind them of the glory of King David in the Old Testament. So Jesus takes this title from Daniel, the Son of Man, and applies it to himself. In 2 months, we will celebrate Christmas. At Christmas, we celebrate Jesus coming as the Messiah, the glory of Israel, and the Son of Man. However, Jesus is not the type of earthly Messiah Israel expects. What type of Messiah is Jesus? Why is Jesus the Son of Man? Mark chapter 10 verse 45. For even the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many. According to Daniel, the Son of Man is given authority, glory, and sovereign power in the heavenly throne. So Jesus is the Son of Man who comes down from heaven, and he comes not to be served, but to serve, and to give his life a ransom for many. Jesus is God who becomes a human being. As a human being, Jesus, God, experiences life as a human being. Like us, God takes on human flesh and blood and becomes one of us. God knows what it means to be poor. God knows what it means to go hungry. God knows what it means to weep. God knows what it means to be hated by people. God knows what it means to be excluded, to be insulted, and to be rejected. And so tomorrow in our worship gathering, we will be praying for Christians who suffer persecution in other countries, and they suffer rejection because of the Son of Man. And they are people like us, but live in a country where Christianity is in a minority situation, and they live in cultures that are not friendly to the Christian faith, but they keep on in their faith because of the Son of Man. The Son of Man comes not to be served, but to serve, and to give his life a ransom for many. And tomorrow in our worship gathering, we will celebrate the Son of Man giving his life as a ransom for many through the breaking of the bread and the sharing of the cup. The Son of Man is truly a human being, and so the bread is a reminder of his actual physical body, the flesh of the Son of Man. And the cup, or the liquid in the cup, is a reminder of the blood that flowed through his veins. And so when we celebrate communion, when we do the Lord's Supper, when we practice the breaking of bread, when we share Jesus' meal, we remember that the Son of Man gives of himself for us, flesh and blood, so that he can become a ransom for many.